songs.
That's really nice.
And a really cool one that I think you might have heard before is a big staple, and have the words blasted on the screen. Bim bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam. Have you heard of this before, Cancer?
Bim bam. I know this one.
Bim 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 bam.
Gotta get in the mic. Gotta get in the mic.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey.
Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Shabbat, Shabbat.
Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom.
Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat,
Shabbat, Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Bim bam.
Bim, 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 bam.
Bim 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 bam. Bim bam. Bim 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 bam. Bim 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 bam. You know, as I was putting together this service, I also recognized that a lot of famous Jewish musicians have come out of the camp system. And one is, oh, look, Shabbat Shalom, Jewel. Yes, we just saw your picture.
Shabbat Shalom, Jewel.
Whoa. So we just learned this one not too long ago, and it's a camp special. And unfortunately, my duet partner is at home watching us on the big screen, so you're going to have to be my duet partner.
I think I've heard this one on Sunday mornings, maybe.
Maybe, except it's the other one.
Let me see. E-O-O.
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 I'm not good as Jewel.
E-O-O.
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 E-O-O. Oh, I thought you were great.
Yeah, but I'm not as good as Jewel.
Well,
She does it great.
That's true.
Because she dances, too.
She's really good. She's got moves.
Yeah.
Hine matov umanayim shavet achim gam yachad. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. Hine matov umanayim shavet achim gam yachad. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. E-O-O.
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 E-O-O. E-O-O.
E-O-O.
E-O-O.
E-O-O. Hine matov umanayim shavet achim gam yachad.
Oh, yeah.
Hine matov umanayim shavet achim gam yachad. E-O-O.
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 E-O-O. E-O-O.
E-O-O.
E-O-O.
E-O-O.
How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this lovely day. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. Last time, E-O-O.
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 E-O-O. E-O-O.
E-O-O.
E-O-O.
E-O-O.
That's a good one. Mikey Palker. He wrote lots of songs, and
That's
it
a
all
nice
came
one.
from URJ camps.
You know, I knew that one by watching you and Jewel on Sunday morning.
Oh, that's a good one.
In between my bar and bat mitzvah students. You know, I have a half hour slated for each kid, then I have a few minutes in between. And I said, I got to watch Jewel. I got to watch Miss Barbara. And that's how I know that one.
It's a good one. Well, I tested that one out on our very first Shabbatini a couple years ago.
Yeah?
That was the night that everybody sang. It might have had something to do with the Shabbatini, which is next Friday night on Zoom.
Huh?
So exciting. And our opening song tonight, Meshugana.
Meshugana.
Meshugana. And again, this is written by a woman that I know very well and love very much. And she got her start at camp in Nifty. And it's a good song, but I don't really feel that crazy yet, Cantor.
I feel a little crazy.
I need to do a little bit of crazying up a bit.
All right.
There's something really amazing about sleepaway camps was that you get to spend, however much time, whether it's a few days or a couple weeks or a month, or if you're that lucky to spend the entire summer at camp, you get to just be yourself. And maybe feather boas, maybe that's myself. Sometimes I'm going to put on a hat, too.
All right.
Yeah. Woo!
Woo!
All right, are you ready, Cantor?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do this. On Friday night when we're feeling alright and we've had our meal and we hoot and squeal, the neighbors know when the music goes on, we've all gone meshuggah. The week's been long so we're dancing strong and we're holding hands like a rubber band, bouncing up, bouncing down, we've all gone meshuggah. Meshuggah, na 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 na. Meshuggah, na 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 na. Brother goes first and he tells a joke and we all crack up like an egg in yolk and we can't stop laughing. Then we've all gone meshuggah. The costume boss with the wacky socks and the sequin vest, we all look our best with my cape and eye patch, two knee pads. We've all gone meshuggah. Meshuggah, na 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 na. Meshuggah, na 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 na. We've got our drums, the piano too, and the guitar, and the bass laps too. It won't be long till you find everybody's gone meshuggah, even you. Meshuggah, na 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 na. Na 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 na. Meshuggah, na 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 na. Na 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 na.
That was great.
Isn't that a good one?
That's a great one.
So good. All because of camp.
Okay.
Joni just released an album called All the Ladies. And one song in particular that stands out is a song that she wrote about Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Who did this song?
Joni Leeds. She's a famous children's musician who hails out of New York these days, but a friend of mine from Camp Coleman.
Wow.
When we used to call Nifty Sefty. And just amazing stuff. But her song about RBG.
Yeah.
I was actually quoting it today in my government class.
Nice.
Yeah. So thank you, Joni. And so we move on to the lighting of the candles. Why do we wave our hands in circular motions? There are many explanations. We lift our hands over the flames 6 times to bring all 6 days into Shabbat. We draw the light into ourselves and spread the light to those in need. Why do we close our eyes? To complete the blessing before enjoying the light, and to remember to use the light to look in. And we'll bless the Cancer.
Yes.
Go for it, sir.
Oh, I think it's a lady's job, actually.
Well, it's 2020.
I'm still a man.
You're wearing a feather boa.
I'm still a man.
Okay, I'll do it.
I mean, if you really wanted me to, I would. But I think it's nice if you do it.
Thank you. And I'm going to take my feather boa off. Woo. And my hat.
Okay. I'll sing it for you, though.
Thank you.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. And before we move on to Kiddush, just one thing I miss about the old Gates of Prayer book is this reading. That's it. That's all I miss. The seventh day is consecrated to the eternal our God. With wine, our symbol of joy, we celebrate this day and its holiness. We give thanks for all our blessings, for life and health, for work and rest, for home and love and friendship. On Shabbat, eternal sign of creation, we remember that we are created in the divine image. We therefore raise our cup in thanksgiving.
Is that my cue?
That's your cue, boss.
Okay. Do we have the Kiddush on the sheet?
Yes, sir.
It's on page
2.
All right. I mean, I know it, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah, we all do.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam B'horei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon in kilanu zikaron l'mahaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tequila למקראי קודש זכר לציאת מצרים כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת אמן לחיים. Oh, that's some good juice.
Some good stuff.
Yeah. I'll keep this handy because you never know when the mood might strike me.
I agree. Keep it close. So we continue with L'chad Odi. And something that I guess instills a passion in children and young people is gathering around in the sanctuary at camp. It's not enclosed, it's outdoors. And there are actually 2 beautiful chapels at Camp Coleman. One is up into the woods, and you have to walk through a path, and it's trees, and you hear birds and the breeze rustling against the leaves, and it's just such a beautiful walk. And then the other chapel it overlooks the lake. And it's on an incline, and the ark is gorgeous. And over the years, there have been beautiful additions to it. But for me, sitting in a community of young people, singing songs that we own, it's just such a special kind of Shabbat. And so when we sing Lecha Dodi, this one is the one I think of from camp. Boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala. Boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikah. Woo! Boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala. Boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikah. Boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala. Boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala. And it gives you just that passion that you come back from camp and you want to join your spiritual community in your synagogue because you have experienced spirituality in a different location and you want to bring that back. And just thinking about some of these tunes and some of these songs and prayers, I wouldn't have the background to learn more as a child if I hadn't gone to camp and that passion for music and for prayer was instilled. And like that, we're going to do Baruch Hu a little bit differently today.
Okay.
So when we're praying as a community in our sanctuary, do you remember that? Oh, it was so nice. But when we're praying in our community, you know, we are feeling holy and spiritual, not just because of the words that we're saying or the prayers that we're reciting. We feel holy because we are with loved ones in our temple. Our synagogue is our extended family. And, you know, getting into the idea of prayer, if you can just imagine yourself right now in maybe a special location. Maybe it's Temple Bethel Sanctuary, or maybe it's the beach, or the woods, or the mountains, or someplace very special to you. And let's think about that spot as we get ready to pray the Baruch Hu. Sorry. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Please rise for the Baruch Hu.
That is beautiful.
We're not done yet.
But that was beautiful.
It's such a good one.
Yeah.
So we just got done singing. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Oh my goodness. Baruch Hu Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
I love that.
It's a beautiful tune. I messed it up a little bit.
No,
but,
it's still beautiful.
It's
You
such
can't
a good
mess
tune.
it up.
And again, Noah Aronson, a product of the URJ camp system.
Wow. I'm going to start singing that one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll get you the music.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's beautiful.
So as we move on, the prayer between Baruch Hu and Shema, Ma'ariv Aravim. And I'm going to force you to duet with me.
Okay.
And then this is completely impromptu. Cantor has maybe heard this a couple of times, but he is not knowledgeable that I'm going to make him sing a duet with me.
Okay. I don't know it.
Roll
Oh,
dark.
I've heard that, but I don't really know it. It's nice.
Roll into dark, roll into light.
Nice.
Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. You think you could do that?
Roll into dark, roll into light.
Nice.
Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to
Again.
night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
That was cool.
That is beautiful.
That was really
Barbara,
neat.
I am
Yes,
learning
sir.
all kinds of things with you.
Thanks, man. That was really fun. And again, this is also a camp tune.
That's incredible. These are beautiful songs that really can have a beautiful impact on the kids that go to camp
It's true.
and on everybody, and
Right.
everybody that hears them.
So this one's a little bit of an oldie. I learned this one when I was really young. Well, you know.
You're still very young.
Thank you. I learned this one last week. No.
Okay.
But again, when we are in religious school and we're learning about our prayers and we're learning about their meanings, you know, it's one thing to understand the definition. It's another thing to comprehend what it means. And when we talk about Shema, listen. You know, we do the fun shh, ah. But really, the words of Shema are so powerful. And I feel that this tune by Cantor Doug Kotler has got it all. And we're also doing Shema a little differently tonight, sir.
Okay.
If you're lost, you feel afraid, and you don't know what to say, then listen to our God. Is there a question on your mind? Is the answer hard to find? Then listen Listen to our God. Listen with all your heart and soul, and with all your might. Write them and learn them and teach them well, every morning and night. Close your eyes and listen. Quiet yourself, there's nothing to say. Stop all the chatter that gets in the way and just listen. Listen to our God. When the wind and the thunder finally disappear, there's still a voice that you can hear if you listen. Listen to our God. You can hear it from the top of the highest hill or from the valley below. It can come from the edge of the universe. It can come from within your soul. Close your eyes and listen. Please rise for the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malachuto Leolam. Va'ed. Listen. Listen to our God. Listen, listen to our God.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
So we also have some quotes from a few years ago from some of our little characters from JLC. And talking about their camp experiences. And they're wonderful. In my camp, I get to go on field trips every day. It was so fun. It's called Sea Camp. We get to go to places like water parks, pools, museums, and some days we stay at the camp and we go to the beach. The center is by Hollywood Beach and a playground. Sea Camp is my favorite camp because we get to go on different adventures every day. How cute is that? Another character who I love and I get to see on Zoom every week. The camp that I went to was the JCC. That summer was the best because I was with all of my friends. Some activities were soccer, tennis, basketball, kickball, and baseball. Once my parents put me in the wrong bus and I spent the first day at camp at another camp. My favorite thing was swimming. That was my camp. How about this character? In my camp, they had amazing activities. The people were so nice and the food was pretty good. My camp was so much fun. I had an amazing time at my sleepaway camp. I went to Camp Lindenmere in Pennsylvania. Also, I missed my very favorite person, my sister Lauren. Aw, then, now, always, Lindenmere.
Wow.
Right? And then this character, oh my gosh, can you believe she's a 7th grader? I can't. When I go to camp, I have the best time of my life. I love making new friends. We play so many games. Every year, I'm so excited to go back to see my friends. The name of my camp is Timber Ridge. It's in West Virginia. At camp, my cabin wrote a little poem, and I will say it for you. T is for together in our second home. Mountains surround us beside the Shenandoah. Even sunset radiates so bright. Now that I'm here, I know that I'm all right. We are all respectful. I'm independent now. Daring and exciting, good friends all around. Evening sunset radiates so bright. Now that I'm here, I know I'm all right. By Cabin 21, the poem spells out Timber Ridge. How cute is that? Wow. So we'll continue with Ve'ahavta. And again, sir, My duet partner is at home watching us on the big screen, so you're going to have to help us.
Okay.
Okay.
Hope I can.
And again, this is a Rick Rex tune.
Oh.
And Rick makes like all the camp circuits. Every summer, he hits up all the camps across the country. It's pretty cool to be a camper at a URJ camp. Just saying. ואהבת לרעך כמוך, ואהבת לרעך כמוך. You got this life to live.
Live it.
Okay, we're going to work on that.
I've only heard this. All right, try again.
Ready? Okay. And you got this life to live.
Live it.
You got so much to give.
Give it.
You got this time to share.
Share it.
You got a smile to wear.
Wear it.
You got this heart to love.
Love.
You got to rise above.
Rise above.
Yeah, you got so much to say.
Say it.
You gotta love somebody like you love yourself. Singing Hafta l'reacha kamocha. Hafta l'reacha kamocha. You got so much to learn.
Learn it.
You got respect to earn.
Earn it.
You got to live your dream.
Dream it.
You got this song to sing.
Sing it.
You got a job to do.
Do it.
You got a point of view.
View it.
You got to do the work.
Work
You
it.
gotta love somebody like you love yourself. Singing Hafta l'reacha kamocha. Hafta l'reacha kamocha. You gotta love somebody like you love yourself. 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 You gotta love somebody like you love yourself. Love somebody like you love yourself. You gotta love somebody like you love yourself. You gotta love somebody like you love yourself. Singing Hafta l'reacha kamocha. Hafta l'reacha kamocha.
That is a great one.
I know. Every Sunday when we sing Ve'ahavta, we think of you and we give you a big shout out.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Oh, see, I'm always teaching kids, so I
know,
miss
so
that.
you don't hear the shout out, but know that we're shouting out for you.
I love that.
Yeah. So here's another writing from another one of our characters, talking about Mi Chamocha. At camp, we sing Mi Chamocha. It's super fun and spirited. Everyone is super involved in this song. My friends and I always jam out during it. The English translation is praising God and saying that God is unique and that God deserves an original song. Additionally, my camp is one of a kind and it deserves its own songs. At the end of Color War, we make up a sad song to another song, like a parody, and dedicate it to camp. Like these are our children. The temple, they're awesome. So this one is a request from a Jewel Siegel. So this is the only one she wanted included. It's for you, girl. You better sing it. Standing at the sea, Micha Mocha. Standing at the sea, Micha Mocha. Standing at the sea, Micha Mocha. Freedom's on our way. Singing and dancing, Micha Mocha. Singing and dancing, Micha Mocha. Singing and dancing, Micha Mocha. Freedom's on our way. Freedom, 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 freedom's on our way. One God, Micha Mocha. One God, Micha Mocha. One God, Micha Mocha. Freedom's on our way. Freedom, 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 freedom's on our way. Aw, I thought during Micha Mocha, Sunday morning tefillah with the JLC right there, singing Micha Mocha. One day.
One day.
Yes, sir. And so we move on. We're on page 7. So I was going through the prayer book and realized, all of these prayers are prayers that we know. And these tunes are also tunes that we know, and they're from camp. Like Jeff Klepper and Daniel Freelander. These are like the major league players of our tunes that we sing on Shabbat at Temple Bethel. And this Hapare Sukkot Shalom or Hashkivenu it's a special place in my heart. I always try to bring it in. And what's so cool about it is that it's in our Shabbat prayer book. Baruch atah Adonai Hapare Sukkot Shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Hapare Sukkot Shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim Shalom. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim Shalom. Baruch atah Adonai Hapare Sukkot Shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Man, it's like an old friend. I imagine myself song leading at Camp Coleman at the Hillman Chapel, the chapel that overlooks the lake, and just hearing the congregation of Colemanites. It's beautiful. And Cantor, to bring us back to Temple Bethel.
Yes, ma'am.
Will you please lead us in tefillah?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll stand up or...
Sure.
Okay. We can stand up right
Okay.
here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah v'Elohei Rachel Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim v'Konei HaKol v'Zoker Chazdei Avot v'Imot Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem L'ma'an Shemo B'Yahava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'Yezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mekayeh HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia Mekaker Kayim B'Chesed Mekayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabbim Sohomek Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayeh Memunato Lishenei Afad Mikamo Kahabal Gevurot Umido Melak Melek Meimi Tumekayeh Umatzmiak Yeshua V'ne'emanat al hakayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mekayeh hakol.
Thank you.
Okay.
And we continue with a prayer for peace. I think you may have heard this one before. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech adon, lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon, lecho hashalom. Shalom rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom rav al Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. I sang it different in my head, but it came out a different way.
That's okay.
From my mouth.
That's fine.
The Bechol 8 part. We do it a little differently. And
Hello, Rabbi.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
Shabbat Shalom.
You got us just in time for silent meditation. Nick, will you put the camera on the screen, please, sir? Take this moment. Watch the screen.
Watch the screen. Whoa. Wow.
So I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure if you caught that, but that was our very own Alyssa Portman lighting the fire in
I didn't know that.
silent meditation.
Wow.
It was pretty neat. Sometimes I lay under the moon. I thank God I'm breathing. And I pray, don't take me soon. 'Cause I'm here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown. But I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around. Because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and the children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Oh, say shalom, bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru, amen. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and the children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. I made Sydney Margolis play it at Zoom JLC last week. She plays guitar. Sydney, you play guitar. I have it on video, but I wanted to ask her face to face if it was okay to show you guys.
I just dropped in to say Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
Shabbat
I
Shalom.
got a little ceremony that I have to do out here. And I'll see the adults at 7:30. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Okay.
So what time is it actually? I have a video, but I don't know if we have time to watch it. So I'm going to post our Camp Coleman video on our page, the 2020 promotional video. And I also wanted you to see these different programs that are offered throughout the country. So you obviously have all of your regional camps. Most kids from the southeast region of the United States go to Camp Coleman, but there are plenty other ones. There are specialty camps that if you're into sport or science or creative arts, special programs that you could attend. There's also different teen programs. If you play guitar and you want to learn how to song lead, there are song leading tracks. You can learn about gun violence prevention, feminism, which isn't just a girl thing, and social justice. All wonderful programs, all sponsored by the URJ. And if there's a program that any of you are interested in, please contact me. I will be happy to set you up with the appropriate person to contact. And grown-ups. Grown-ups, if you're sitting here watching tonight's service and you were moved by the music or the stories, I ask you to go possibly to campcoleman.org and donate, because I wouldn't have had the opportunity to go to camp if it weren't for scholarship. And I think that more children have or deserve the honor of going to camp. You know, for the last 8 months we've been cooped up. Our children have been cooped up. Maybe they're still doing online school. Maybe they haven't gotten the opportunity to see friends, family, loved ones. And going to a safe environment like camp is a good thing. First of all, their medical facility is insane. And besides that, they have very strict protocols. And so if you want to send your child to camp, but you're concerned maybe because of the pandemic during these uncertain times, maybe contact me, reach out, and I'd be happy to share with you any sort of information that I have. And one last thing I'd like to say before we close out and Cantor preps for the grown-up service, which is not nearly as fun as tonight.
No, this was fun.
This is fun.
Although I have fun every service.
How often do you get to wear a feather boa on Shabbat?
You'd be surprised.
I would be. So to close out...
But I loved your songs, too.
Thank you.
They were just melodies that we have to incorporate. I have to learn some of them. They're great.
I'm honored.
And your spirit is great.
Thank you. I'm not going to get to say Happy Thanksgiving to my temple family. So we'll end today with another camp powerhouse, Debbie Friedman. She got her start at UAHC Kutz Camp in Warwick. And she didn't really like it, but it gave her an opportunity to sit down and to bring pen to paper, some beautiful music. And we sing her tunes in our Shabbat service all the time. It makes my heart warm when Cantor sings Debbie Friedman tunes.
Oh, yeah.
But before I close with my Happy Thanksgiving song, which is kind of funny, I wanted to share with you something that I found in my office. Now, any of y'all have ever been to my office, you know that it is a collection of 50 years worth of material. And so sorting through this material, I stumbled across this packet, which was very interesting to me. I noticed that it was an evening program from camp talking about prayer, spirituality, keva, kavanah, and So then I started reading it because I saw, oh, okay, kavanot. Interesting. What is prayer? Interesting. Tough questions Jews ask by Rabbi Edward Feinstein. Okay, neat. Do I have to go to a synagogue to pray? And I thought it was so appropriate because a lot of y'all are sitting in your living rooms or you're looking on your phone. And here we go. You can go into the woods or out to the beach and talk with God. In fact, some of the best moments of prayer I've ever had were out in nature, far away from synagogues and service. You can go anywhere to pray. The synagogue gives us a different experience of prayer. It is the experience of a community sharing prayer together and living life together. Did you ever go to a baseball or football game? What's the difference between watching the game at the ballpark and watching the same game at home on TV? Unless you have really good seats, you probably see more on TV than you do from your seat in the ballpark. So why is the ballpark always a better experience? Because there's more than just the game going on. There's the game. And then there's the crowd and their cheers, doing the wave, screaming for the home team and screaming at the other guys. There's the popcorn and the peanuts, the funny hats, those big foam fingers. It's the whole scene. A synagogue service is to prayer what the afternoon at the ballpark is to the ball game. We pray, but we pray together. We blend our voices together in song. We share our lives with one another. Happy moments and celebrations, as well as sad moments, tragedies, and the losses that come with life. We learn together, sharing our ideas about how life should be lived. When life is good, we share the joy. When life is difficult, we help one another find the courage not to give up, not to lose hope. In the woods, I feel the presence of God in the peacefulness of the trees. At the beach, I feel the presence of God in the rhythm of the waves and the vastness of the ocean. In synagogue, I feel the presence of God in the sounds of all of us who have gathered to celebrate life together. In synagogue, I know that I belong, that my life matters to all these people. I am touched by the lives of others, and they are touched by me. How beautiful is that? Tear to my eye when I read that the first time. It explains so much. Happy Thanksgiving, hooray, hooray, hooray! Aren't you glad you're not a turkey on this Thanksgiving Day? Happy Thanksgiving, hooray, hooray, hooray! Aren't you glad you're not a turkey on this Thanksgiving Day? Indians and pilgrims celebrated on this feast, a very special holiday first started in the East. Plymouth Rock, the Mayflower, that's how it all began. Feel free to join me in the chorus if you can. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, hooray, hooray, hooray! Aren't you glad you're not a turkey on this Thanksgiving Day? Happy Thanksgiving, hooray, hooray, hooray! Aren't you glad you're not a turkey on this Thanksgiving Day? Apple pie and pumpkin pie and lots of things to eat. Kosher turkey filled with stuffing, a very special treat. Don't forget the indigestion on this holiday. Better take some Rolaids so the pain will go away. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, hooray, hooray, hooray! Aren't you glad you're not a turkey on this Thanksgiving Day? Happy Thanksgiving, hooray, hooray, hooray! Aren't you glad you're not a turkey on this Thanksgiving Day? Aren't you glad you're not a turkey on this Thanksgiving Day? Shabbat Shalom. Contact me for camp information. Mwah.
Shabbat Shalom. That was beautiful, Barb.
Thanks.
Thank you,
That
thank
was
you,
fun.
thank you.
Thank you for
My pleasure.
being my wingman.
My pleasure. My pleasure. That was great. All right. Okay.
I really hope I can go to camp this summer. I want to go to camp.
Well,
Mine. That's mine. That's mine.
Mics are back on.
Testing. Oh, yeah, that's loud.
Because you got such a soft voice.
Time for class.
School's in session.
You got time. Let me just see something. Are there any? I don't think we have any.
Thank you, boss. Think I've cleaned up. Oh, can't see.
I'm going to turn it on, Rabbi.
I'm gonna walk the long way.
Okay. Is our company?
Yes, they are getting their music.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Must be
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom, guys.
Shalom.
Oh, nice to see you, Barbara.
Keep safe.
Keep positive.
Thank you, sir. You
Test negative.
Yeah.
We don't want to fight. Well, we are waiting for the cantor and Richie, but they will be along soon. It's lovely that our president, Scott Singer, is here with us this evening. Now, Scott and I are wearing our poppies. And now his dad and his grandfather served in the armed forces of Great Britain during the First World War and the Second World War. I think that is really something to be proud of. Scott's father served in the RAF, the Royal Air Force. I don't think there was a Royal Air Force in the First World War, in the Great War, as it was called. They didn't call it the First World War during that war. They thought it was the war to end all wars because it was horrible. My dad was in the Seaforth Highlanders. All the Canadian soldiers who came out of Vancouver were either in the Seaforth Highlanders or the Irish Fusiliers. It didn't matter if you were Irish or Scottish. All the regiments were based on British regiments. And so my father went off to war wearing a kilt. But he never got sent overseas, much to his regret. He wanted to fight, but he had a heart murmur. He had rheumatic fever as a boy. And now I don't think that would have kept him out of combat nowadays. But in those days, they didn't want to take the chance. But my Uncle Jack, he served overseas during the war. He saw a lot of action in North Africa and through Sicily and Italy. And I was very proud of the both of them. They didn't wait. It was 1939. They didn't wait to be... We didn't say drafted in Canada. We used the British term, conscripted. They didn't wait to be conscripted. They had to be called. They went down and joined, and that's the way a lot of our great heroes from that greatest generation. Now I'm going to light the candles right now, and you know what? I'm going to do a little nigun. First of all, I think I'm going to put my talis on. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lihitatef batzitzi. Normally, you don't wear a talis during evening services, during Ma'ariv, unless you're leading the service, and then it's customary. So Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
to
Shalom.
my friends here.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I was away for a few days, but I'm back now, so you better behave.
Yeah.
Rabbi's back, right?
Right.
Okay.
We're watching us.
No more frivolity.
No more fun, except
No
on
more.
Shabbat.
La da 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 ya da da ya da da ya da da ya da 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 ya da da ya da 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 da. How about a bass line?
How about a bass line, Rich?
I'm in A minor. La da 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 ya da da ya da da ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da da ya da 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 ya da da ya da 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 ya da da ya da 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 ya da ya da da ya da da ya da da ya da
Getting ready.
da da ya da 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 da
Hey!
ya da 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 ya da da ya da da ya da da ya da 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 ya da da ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da da ya da da ya da da ya da da ya
That is a great nigun.
That is not.
What's the name of that?
I think it's either the moon Munkach.
Moonkach.
Now, they were that's a Hasidic sect in
The Moonkach Rebbe.
The Moonkach Rebbe. They were from Hungary.
You know, I had an
I
amazing...
think it's the Moonkach.
You just made me think of something I haven't thought of in years.
What's that?
There was a man in my previous congregation before I came here
Yes.
who was a Holocaust survivor. His name was Ludwig.
Uh-huh.
And the Moonkach Rebbe gave him a picture of himself with a prayer on it.
No kidding.
Yeah. And Ludwig kept it with him during the war, and it was like in plastic or something.
Wow.
And he kept it with him, and he was shot during the war, and the bullet went into the picture and saved his life.
Wow.
I hadn't thought of that, and he told me that story.
Wow. Wow.
Now that's amazing.
And you know Sam Gruscott. He is a descendant of the Moonkach
Wow.
Hasidim is.
How about that?
Sam, he usually watches on Friday night, so if you're watching, that was for you.
That's
Okay.
a great nigun.
Yes. Well, we'll do that. It's so simple. It's just A minor and E. It's nice. Okay, now we turn, if you happen to have your prayer books with you, to page 120 for the blessing over the Sabbath candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Will never do, Cantor. You need to have a libation, a kosher libation.
Well, this is my second one tonight.
I know. Well, you're going to be shook. All right. The heavens and the earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all of the work of creation that God had done. We turn to page 123 for the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei pri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu V'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon Hinchilanu zikaron L'maaseh v'reishit Ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh Zeker tziyat Mitzrayim Kivanu Bakarta Yotanu Idashta Mikohamim Vishabat Kochecham V'yava Uveratzon Inkaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
Okay. Now we maybe continue with Hine Mato.
Yes, the traditional one. There we go. Hine matov umanayim shevet hakim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet hakim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet hakim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet hakim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet hakim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet hakim gam yachad. Let's go right down the page. Ma yafeh hayom. Shabbat Shalom. How lovely today is. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Let's do one more on that page. Yedid Nefesh.
Ah,
That's a beautiful song.
lover or delight of my heart.
Yedid Nefesh Avarakaman. Yedid Nefesh Avarakaman. Meshok Avdecha. La 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 Eretzonecha Yarutz Avdecha Kemo Ayah Yishtakav Elai La 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 El Mul Hadar 130, we'll sing Lechuna Ranana, Psalm 95. Lekune ranena, lekune ranena, lekune ranena l'Adonai. Lekune ranena, lekune ranena, lekune ranena l'Adonai. Naria, naria, litzor yishenu, nikadma fanav betoda. Naria, naria, litzor yishenu, Bismirot naria lo. Lekune ranena, lekune ranena, lekune ranena l'Adonai. Lekune ranena, lekune ranena, lekune ranena l'Adonai. Okay. Lecha Dodi, page 138. We'll do I. And we'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. I, lecha dodi. I, likrat kalam. I, b'nei Shabbat. I, nikablam. Shamor v'zakor b'dibor echad. Ishmeyanu el hamiyukad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad. L'shemu tiferet v'letehila. Ay lecha dodi. Ay likrat kalam. Ay p'nei Shabbat. Ay nikablam. Likrat Shabbat lekum v'nelka. Ki mekor ha'braka. Mirosh mikedem esuka. Sof ma'aseh v'makshava tequila. Ay lecha dodi. Ay likrat kalam. Ay p'nei Shabbat. Ay nikablam. Itoreri, kiva orech umi ori, uri, shir daberi, toda Adonai, Alai biglam. Ay lecha dodi. Ay likrat kalam. Ay p'nei Shabbat. Ay nikablam. Boi v'shalom ateret falam. Yam b'simcha u'etzolam. Tok emunei am segula. Boi chalam. Boi kalam. Ay lecha dodi. Ay likrat kalam. Ay p'nei Shabbat. Ay nikablam. Likrat Chalam, ay, B'nei Shabbat, ay, Nikabla. Page 140, we have Psalm 92, the Psalm for Shabbat. We're going to sing our beautiful melody, Ma Gadlu, Ma'asech Haya Ma'od Amku, Machshavotecha, which means, how great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your designs. Ma Gadlu, Ma'asech Haya Machshavotecha, Agadlu, Mahasech Haya, Hallelujah, Me'oramku, Machshavotecha. Page 142, we sing Shalom Aleichem. About the angels that are with us every week. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mihi Melech, Malachei Hamlakim HaKadosh Baruch. V'akem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barkuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei Amlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Malachei Amlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei Amlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yitkadav, Yitkadash Shemei Rabbah. Yamad Ivrak Rutev Yamlik Makutei. Bekayekon Uvyomekon Ukayedeko Be Yisrael. Bakala Bahakola Uvisman Karivimaru. Amen. Yeheshmei Rabbah Mevarach Leholam Ulam E'amaya. Yitbarak Yishtabak בהר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר יתעלה ויתעלה שמי קודשה לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה נמירן בימה ויאמרו Amen.
We rise for the Baruch Hu 146.
Lai, 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 lai.
Lai, 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 lai.
Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Areku et Adonai Am Evorah. Areku
Et Adonai.
Am Evorah. Baruch Adonai Am Evorah Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Am Evorah Le'olam va'ed. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, lai, lai,
Lai, lai, lai, lai.
lai, 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 lai.
Scott, would you be so kind as to read from that first passage at the top of page 149?
Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the currents of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, for whom the evening flows. Baruch
Atah Adonai Ha'ma'ariv Aravim. Would you mind continuing on page 150 as well, everlasting love?
Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
Baruch Atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. And we rise once more for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael
Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam va'ed.
We continue. Let's read in the English on page 154. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions which I charge you this day, and press them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away. When you lie down and when you rise, get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorpost of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai, your God. Mi Chamocha 158.
Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi Chamocha neder b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osei felet. Nora tehilot osei felet. Malchuteka uvaneka. Bokea yam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze'elianu ve'amru. Ze'elianu ve'amru. Adonai imalo ve'olam va'ed. Adonai imalo ve'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha neder b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osei felet. Nora tehilot osei felet.
And we continue with Vishamru on 162.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ובני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות
את השבת
לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
And we rise for the tefillah on page 166.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ahel HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomer חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואמהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם עזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מקיים מתים אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח מוריד הגשם מקלקל חיים בחסד מקיים מתים ברחמים רבים צומק נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדום מלך מלך מימין ומקיים ומצמיח ישועה ונאמנה טל הקיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מקיים המתים.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך הצלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated. We continue on page 177. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha u'lecha na'eh lehodot. Page 178 for Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tatsim Leholam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tatsim Leholam. Ki ata melech Adon, lechol hashalom. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'kol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
Well, it's been an eventful and somewhat difficult week. We finally have settled. I think most of us are settled on the election results.
I'm not.
You're not?
No.
Okay. Most of us are. And I think it's a good bet Joe Biden is going to be our president. And, we wish him well. However you voted, it doesn't matter how you voted. We always respect the office of the presidency. And so I think all good Americans will thank President Trump for his service. And we will wish President-elect Biden the best. And because the president, whoever the president is, if we need to pray for their success, their wisdom, and there is a lot, and good choices, and certainly, our country's divided. Let's face it, our country's very divided. There's not a lot of civility. We have to bring the country together one way or the other. We have to see each other as fellow Americans, not as enemies, but as fellow Americans. We might have differences, as my good friend Suzanne Gunsberger says. How does she put it? We might have disagreements, but there's no reason to be disagreeable.
Get that right.
And there has to be compromises for democracy to work. It's not all about who's going to win. It's like you got to win a little bit. I have to win a little bit. The people who voted for President Trump, they need to be respected. The people who voted for Mr. Biden, for Vice President Biden, they have to be respected, and they have to listen to each other. Together we'll get through this, because we have a lot of things that we have to solve. We have the 30th named storm in the Atlantic. We're up to Theta, I think it is, something like that. Never has there been this number of storms. I was out of town. I drove back from North Carolina through, and most of the time I was hitting winds. I mean, horrible winds and driving rains. This last week, and we have climate change. You can see it. You can see it everywhere in the country. We have a COVID outbreak. I mean, it is, for the last week, we've hit over 150,000 new cases a day. These are serious problems. We have to get people back to work. We have to open our economy. We have to do it safely. And we have to, almost 250,000 Americans are dead. And we have to, we don't want any more to die. We don't want any more people to be struck down by this virus. I don't want to do any more funerals for people who've died of COVID. I've done probably a half a dozen in the last couple of months, and it's too much. So we have to pull together. We have to bless this country. We have to recognize that people, and the good news is over 140 million people voted. That's a triumph of democracy, right? Well, once the election is over, we have to pull together, and we have to pull together, listen to each other, and find solutions. We got to put our heads together. People on the right, people on the left. We have to pull our resources together, and we have to respect each other. We all have to give a little bit. And I think this country has great, great potential. So let's close our eyes for a moment or two, and let's think about how great this country is. Let's thank God for the blessing of America, the blessing of being Americans. And let us pray that God shines a beautiful light over this country and instills in our leaders wisdom and patience and civility. And let us always think of each other first as fellow citizens rather than members of any political party. Take a deep breath.
Hoseh shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael, ve'yimru, imru amen. Hoseh shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael, ve'yimru, imru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael, 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 v'imru, amen.
Well, you can see I'm wearing a poppy, and Scott's wearing a poppy. Why? Because this week we observed the 11th of November, which is we in Canada we called it's not just Veterans Day or it's not Veterans Day. Armistice Day is what we called it in Canada. And I remember when I was in the Royal Canadian Air Force Cadets, we used to go down to Victory Square, and we would have a color guard down there. And a number of years I did that, and if you got an English background like you do, Scott, or a Canadian background like me, you know a lot about the First World War. In Victory Square, I saw Vimy Ridge, the name, and Somme and Marnes. These were the great battles in Victory Square of the First World War. Why November the 11th? Well, it was 1918. When that war to end all wars. They didn't call it the First World War because they had no expectations that there would be subsequent world wars. Wow. It was called the Great War, and it engulfed the entire planet almost. But it was on November the 11th at 11 o'clock. In November, the 11th hour, the 11th day.
Wow.
And that's why the 11 became a big number.
Month.
The 11th month, the 11th hour, the 11th day.
When I was a kid, they used to have a siren. Did they have that where you live?
I don't remember for
How about you?
Days. I don't remember.
They used to have a siren. I used to hear a
really?
siren.
On November the 11th?
Yeah, at 11 o'clock.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, all of us have relatives who served. Was it your grandfather served in the Jewish
Legion?
Legion. When what years was it?
World War I.
World War
I mean,
I.
yeah, he fought.
Allenby. Your grandfather saw General Allenby, who was the great British general who led the Jewish soldiers through North Africa and eventually into what was
I went to a museum in Israel. I think I told you this.
Yeah.
One of the most thrilling moments of my life. There's a museum in Israel. I found this museum, beautiful museum to the Jewish Legion. I walked in there. It was in this little town near Netanya called Avichayel. And I walked in there, and there's a picture of all the soldiers, and they're sitting there like this, and it was from the floor to the ceiling. I walked in, I picked up my grandfather. And he was like 3 guys away from Ben Gurion.
Isn't that incredible?
It's my grandfather.
And Scott, your grandfather served, I think, you tell us about your grandfather's service and your father's service.
I don't know too much about my grandfather. I know he except that he did serve,
In the First World War.
And my father, I told you earlier, he really didn't speak too much about being in the service, in the Royal Air Force. And he and his brother went into the Royal Navy at the same time.
Your uncle, yes.
Right. And they were quite young. And it was well, my father had 8 siblings, and they were all younger than he was. And because of the bombing that was going on, those other kids had to be taken to safe houses. So, my father and his brother were serving. His siblings were being placed into homes, different homes, because there were so many of them. So, but he did serve and saw action. He did get, his plane did get hit, and he was scarred.
Your father was a navigator.
Navigator in World War.
Now, the 2 big British bombers, there was the Halifax and the Lancaster.
I'm not sure which. One is a large one, and one is a
smaller
small plane.
Because the Canadian Air Force used those those British bombers as well.
But no, he really didn't talk to me. The only way I found anything out was through his sister, my aunt, who would tell me things. Was he would write letters, and but he never would speak about it. Even when I would ask him, he's something that he would never wanted to talk about. And he served. He did what he was supposed to do, and his brother served. And they each came back home, and then my uncle he moved to Canada.
Yeah.
And my father wound up first in Chicago, then in New York. And the rest is history, as they say.
Well, my father went off to war in 1939. He thought he was going off to war in a kilt. He was in the Seaforth Highlanders, but he had rheumatic fever as a boy, so he had a slight murmur in his heart. So he served. They wouldn't send him overseas. He stayed in Ontario, I think Kitchener, Ontario, where there was a base, and he was on guard duty. And not one Nazi ever made it into that base. So my dad. But, and one of his biggest regrets was he wasn't shipped overseas.
Wow.
He so wanted to be shipped overseas. And it was just now, I don't think a heart murmur would stop you. I think, people have heart murmurs, and I think it doesn't scare the Army. I think you'll still see action. My uncle, my mother's brother, served in the Canadian Army. He saw a lot of action in North Africa, in Sicily, and in Italy. And he was wounded. He carried shrapnel in his body to the day he died. There was shrapnel that wasn't worth taking it out. The operation would have been more dangerous than just carrying it. I have some statistics here that I think are rather interesting about Jewish participation in the military. In World War I, 250,000 Jews served in the American Army.
Wow.
A quarter. We weren't that many Jews in the country, but there were 250,000 Jewish men, maybe some women as well, who served in the American Army. In Great Britain, in the First World War, and your grandfather was one of those 50,000 Jews who served in the British forces. In the British Commonwealth, which would include Canada and Australia, about 8,000 Jews. Now, in Russia, Russia had a large Jewish population. They were fighting the Germans on the Eastern Front. There were 450,000 Jews in the Tsar's army.
Wow.
And in Austria-Hungary, 275,000 Jews. There were 8,000 Italian Jews who served in that country's army. In France, there were 35,000 French Jews. Now, getting up to the Second World War, 550,000 Jews served in the American armed forces. And that I understand that we Jews had the largest representation given our percentage of the population of any ethnic group serving in the American forces. You go to Normandy, you go to those cemeteries in Normandy, and you see all the crosses, but you'll see a lot of Magen Davids as well on those graves. In Great Britain, you had 62,000 Jews serving. Out of Canada, this is broken down. It wasn't just the British Commonwealth, but there were 16,000. So there's my family. In South Africa, there were 10,000 Jews. Australia and New Zealand had 3,000 Jews serving. And they had a great, in the First World War, well, actually, I'm going back to the First World War, there was a great Jewish general from Australia, Monash, Lieutenant General Monash.
Wow.
And there's a university named after him in Melbourne. Greatly respected, General Monash, who led probably the most distinguished of the Australian generals. And so in the Soviet Union, you had 500,000 Jews. And Poland, that was defending against the Germans that attacked on the 1st of September 1939. There were 140,000 Jews serving in the Polish army.
Including Menachem Begin.
Including Menachem Begin. Very
That's right.
good.
Yep.
So all told, in the Second World War, you had 1,397,000 Jews fighting the Nazis.
Wow.
Just think about that.
That's a lot of people.
And Jews have had distinguished careers in the military, going all the way back to New Amsterdam. There were those 54 Jews who came up from Brazil to New Amsterdam. And there was a guy by the name of Asher Levy, who went to Peter Stuyvesant, who was a bit of an anti-Semitic governor, Dutch governor, and he insisted that he be allowed to go on guard duty against Indian attacks. That was in the 1600s. So, he may have been the first Jewish kind of serviceman in the Americas. And certainly during the Revolutionary War, there were Jews involved in the Civil War. And so Jews have served in the armies and the navies and the air corps in every land where they've lived. And we see a great military tradition that's come to be in the land of Israel as well. But here's the thing, all those men and women, there were some women too, a lot of women who were involved in the armed services, mostly in auxiliary positions, but nonetheless they suffered and made great sacrifices as well. But most of the people who served, and most of the people who saw combat, didn't want to talk about it. Your dad didn't want to talk. I know my uncle never really wanted to talk about it. None of them wanted to talk about it. None of them glorified war. War is terrible. War is about the ugliest human endeavor there is. There's nothing glorious about it. Yes, there are heroes, but there's some flaw in human nature where we fight against each other, where sometimes nations find no other solution but to lift up arms against each other. When I was in Canada, when I was growing up in Canada, we had to study the poetry of Wilfred Owen. He died on the 4th. He was, I think, a major in the British Army. He died on the 4th of November, a week before peace was declared. And he wrote poetry, and it isn't beautiful poetry. It's tough poetry about war. And he hated war. He was a hero. The man was a distinguished officer Here's one of his poems, a short poem called Anthem for Doomed Youth. He saw all of these young English boys and then Canadian boys and American boys, if he came across them, just being cut down. And he said, for what? For what? And that was a war that probably was totally avoidable. And Anthem for Doomed Youth, he calls this. What passing bells for these who die as cattle? Only the monstrous anger of the guns, only the stuttering rifles' rapid rattle can patter out their hasty orisons. No mockeries now for them, no prayers nor bells, nor any voice of mourning save the choirs, the shrill, demented choirs of wailing shells, the bugles calling them from their sad shriers. What candles may be held to speed them all? Not in the hands of boys, but in their eyes shall shine the holy glimmers of goodbyes. The pallor of girls' brows shall be their pall. Their flowers the tenderness of patient minds, and each slow dusk a drawing down of blinds. Oof. The futility of it all. And yet humanity never seems to learn. And so that's why there's so many prayers for peace in the Jewish prayer book.
We may be learning now.
I hope so.
I
hope so.
We may be.
I hope so. From your lips, Cantor, to God's ears,
Yeah.
I hope we're learning, but I look around and I'm not so sure. But I hope you're right. And I will march in any parade for peace.
Yeah.
I will march. Yeah. I will extend my hand in peace to any enemy who sincerely holds out their hand in peace as well. Isaiah had a beautiful vision of the lamb and the wolf lying down together, right? And neither would molest or hurt the other. And he had a vision, and we must always keep this vision in our minds. The vision of peace. That's what this should all go toward, peace. And there's a song, Lo yisagoy el goy cherev. One day, nations shall not lift up sword against nation, nor will they study war anymore. Cantor, would you lead us in that?
Rich, you know that? Lo yisagoy. Good. Lo yisagoy el goy kerev, lo yilmadu od milchama. Lo yisagoy el goy kerev, lo yilmadu od milchama. Lo yisagoy el goy kerev, lo yilmadu od milchama. Lo yisagoy el goy kerev, lo yilmadu od milchama. Lo yisagoy el goy kerev, lo yilmadu od milchama. Lo yisagoy el goy kerev, lo yilmadu od milchama. Lo yisagoy el goy kerev, lo yilmadu od milchama. Lo yisagoy el goy kerev, lo yilmadu od milchama.
And this week we're going to dedicate a Misha Berach on behalf of Randy Leaf, who's recovering from eye surgery. Best wishes for an upcoming surgery as well. Lottie Green, we send our best wishes to. Cantor, you have a list, I think.
Yeah, people call me during the week and ask me to say a prayer, so I'm glad to do it. We're saying a Misha Berach for Barry Meyerson, for Mario Torres, who worked here for our temple for years. Mario is in tough shape. For my friend Dr. Mike Gukas, for Elise Siegel-Chin, for Dan O'Brien, for Ray Strauss, Bernie Besserman, Sharon Kaplan. And I want to say Misha Barak for our friend Shai, who's still healing, Shai Habosha, and for his mom, Marjorie Habosha. Okay, we're on page 372, I believe. Hang on, I'm going to find the page.
374, maybe?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I know it by heart, but I'd like to sing the prayers while I see it. Wait a minute. Keep playing, Rich.
Well, let's do
We're going to sing it.
You know.
Mishe Berak Avotenu Bekor Habrakav Limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe Berak Imotenu Mekor Habrakav Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
And we're celebrating some birthdays. This week, Heather Needleman. We bat mitzvahed Heather. It's a long time ago. And Russell Shashir, Eugenie Rosner, and Fran Hausman, a former treasurer of our congregation. So may God bless you on this echoing day of your birth. And it's a great thing that you came into this world, because nobody like you has ever existed before. Each one of us is like a fingerprint, absolutely unique. Each one of us has some destiny that God has called us to fulfill. And I suppose we spend our lifetimes trying to find out, what is my purpose? How can I make this world a little better? So, and I know those four people are making the world a little better. So let's sing happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Don't blow out the Shabbos candles. It's not allowed. Okay.
Okay,
Blow
Rabbi.
out the candles on your cake, but not the Shabbos candles.
And I'd like, if we could do it now, I'd like to do the blessing for the new month.
Well, I'm not.
You want to do
quite
it before?
Well, no, I like to just do
Okay, you tell
our
me when.
anniversaries.
I'm
I need a
sorry.
little bit of
Anniversary music, please. Oh, gee. You know, Rabbi, you watch these online services across the country, they're not like us.
Not like us. No. I'm doing a silent movie.
There is nothing wrong with your computer.
Well, I love Charlie Chaplin, you know?
Oh.
Okay. So this week, Paula Steinberg and Howard Marmerstein.
Oh, isn't that nice?
They're a lovely couple. They are celebrating their anniversary, their love. And Jerry and Chuck Roars. They think they may be out in Aspen right now. They have a place out there. and Barbie and Jim Stern. Oh, what a beautiful couple they are. And Susie and Steve Lewis as well. And you know, you can search your whole life for your beshert, the one that you were intended to be with. And when you finally find them, oh, love is great. And so, we wish you a great anniversary, and that every time you look into each other's eyes, you will rediscover the reason why you fell in love in the first place.
Do you know the secret to a happy marriage?
What is it?
Don't know. It's a secret.
What is it?
Don't know. It's a
I don't know. It's a secret. There you go.
I have a friend who wakes up every morning, he turns to his wife and he says, I'm sorry. I'm not kidding.
There you go.
And she says, for what?
Yeah.
He says, well, I'm going to do something today. So he gets it out of the way.
There you go.
I'm serious.
Well, anyway, for all of our birthday people and our anniversary people, we say, Yavarechecha Adonai v'yishmarecha, Ye'er Adonai panav alecha v'yichuneka, Yisa Adonai panav alecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you. May God watch over you always. May God shine a beautiful light around you and be gracious unto you. May you feel God's presence loving you and protecting you every step along your life's journey. Amen. And let's bless the new month.
Okay, the new month of Kislev begins on Tuesday. Seems like just a week or two ago we were doing the blessing for this month. So Kislev, the month of Chanukah, comes up beginning on Tuesday. So if you're following in our prayer book, it's on page 519. Yehi ratzon mefanech Adonai Eloheinu v'Elokei avoteinu v'imotenu shekadesh aleinu et hakodesh haba letova v'livracha v'titen lanu chayim arukim chayim shel shalom chayim shel parnasa Chayim shetehevanu ahavat Torah ve'yirat shamayim Chayim shemalami shalom libenu letova. Amen. God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, and prosperity. A life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our heart are fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh Kislev Yihiyeh B'yom Shlishi. The new month of Kislev will begin on Tuesday.
And you know what happens on the 25th of Kislev? Chanukah. Oh, just wait. Hanukkah's on the way. It's on the way. So you just hold on. We're going to have a parking lot Hanukkah celebration this year.
Huh.
Okay. So
how's that going to work?
Oh, we're working on it.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
But you're all going to be invited, and I know we're going to be selling latkes. So just keep in touch. Look at trending. Look at our website, and you got a lot of good stuff to look forward to. The Aleinu on page 586.
Beautiful. Aleinu l'shabayach l'adon hakol la'tek t'gdula liyotzeh b'reishit שלא עצרנו כגויי הרצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה שלא שם כוחנו כהם וגור עלינו ככל המונם ואנחנו קוראים ומשתקמים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'nemar V'haya Adonai L'melech Al Kol Haaretz Hayom Ha'hu Ushemo, Ushemo Echad.
This week we observe the yortzites of Murray Benson, Bess Behrens, Robert Bernstein, Hannah Borses, Jenny Brill, Martin Cohn, Carol Colin, Stanley Emis, Martha Feldman, Jesse Fine, Esther Fox, Martha Friedman, Claire Friedman, Sarah Gelfenbein, Sholem Gelfenbein, Henry Goldberg, Marion Greben, Rick Green, Edward Gross, James Grossman, Irving Gruen, Jack Goodwin, Sylvia Holzer, Franchon Comito, Maxwell Kramer, Florence Liebensberger, Hope Lichtbau, Theodore Lifsit, Francis Leimer, Alan Lipton, Morris Sattler Marks, Julius Abraham Oshlag, Erna Pessel, Sadie Peters, Ida Prager, Helen Rappaport, Herb Ravitz, Jesse Runkel, Charles Shifter, Sidney Shipman, Reuben Shore, Nathan Siegel, Louis Silberman, Miriam Silver, Morris Stave, Sarah Wiener, Florence Weil, Ada Weinfeld, Henry Young, and David Zach. And as always, we remember the 6 million. And this month this week we're still in the Shloshim period for Morton Kalin, Natalyn Hayden, Jan Liederman, Elaine Rudner, Vicky Lipton, and Marcia Rapp, a dear friend and a former president of this congregation who served our community so diligently, and we will miss her. We will miss them all sorely. The Mourner's Cottage can be found on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shamirabah, Be'alma devarach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon v'yomechon ufchayedechol Beit Yisrael, Bagalav Yisman Kariv Yimromen, Yehi Shmei Rabba Mavarach Leolam Olamei Omaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, Shmei Dekudsha Brichu, Leila min kol berchata v'shirata, Tushbachata v'nechamata, Da'miran bi'alma v'imromen, Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya, V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imromen, Oseh Shalom b'imromav, V'ya'aseh Shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Scott, would you like to say a few words and maybe give us a few highlights of upcoming events?
Sure. Okay. I was just thinking while you were talking before about what's been going on. 2020 has been a very long year.
I know.
Of course, COVID is still going on.
Yeah.
And the election, in a way, is still going on. The hurricane season is still going on.
I know.
And
never ends.
I was thinking, before all of this, at least for us, it was like the Jewish holidays was the longest time. I said, the Jewish holidays is so long. It's like, when will we get through this? Now, that's nothing compared to what's going on. When will these things come to an end? So, just a crazy, crazy year.
It has been. It's been a hard year.
But anyway, we do have a few announcements. So just a reminder, as you know, Temple Beth El, our services are streamed. We have live stream and Facebook Live, YouTube, and Roku. So if one doesn't work, go to the other one. Last week, I believe Facebook went down. And so you could go to either the live stream or YouTube. So we're in all these different places. So don't worry about it. If one goes down, go to the other. The Sisterhood gift shop has gifts talking about Hanukkah. We have some beautiful gifts in our Sisterhood gift shop. So come by, pick up a gift. And of course, we're still collecting donations of personal and feminine hygiene products for the Jewish Federation Dignity Project. So if you have things, please come in, drop them off in the boxes. And we have non-perishable foods for Temple Bethel members in our community. Just bring your donations in. We're here Monday through Friday. You'll see the box and come say hello. Hey, and if you haven't been here in a while and you are going out, come say hello to the staff. You know, I like to see your face.
But wear a mask when you come in.
Of course.
Wear a mask when you come in.
So, one thing I've been talking about, and you may have been hearing, is about our poker tournament that's coming up on January 30th. And you could be a player. So even if you never played the game before, you can learn how to play. It's rather simple. It's poker. And if you want to be a sponsor, there's different lines to be a sponsor, and you get to have the name of your company or your name as a sponsor. So call the temple to find out about that. And it's a lot of fun, no matter what. And you don't have to live here, as I said, here in Hollywood. This could be played all over the world. So if you're watching anywhere, call in and find out how you could participate. So tomorrow morning we have, of course, Torah study at 9:30. That's followed by the Shabbat service.
And that's a Zoom. So
all right, everything here is Zoom. Nothing here.
it's going to be a Zoom.
Sunday at 9:30 we have with Miss Barbara the JLC and Tefillah. Monday at 11 o'clock we have transitional yoga. And Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 is the morning meditation and intention. Tuesday, this has been a nice hit, actually, is the Nash and Shmooze. That's Tuesday at 12 o'clock. Wednesday at 11:30 a.m., Rabbi's class on Zoom.
That's Talmud.
Right, and you should know. You do the class. Thursday at 9 o'clock is the Minyan. Thursday is a very busy day, by the way. Thursday at Minyan at 9 o'clock. 10:30 is the book club meeting at Zoom. Then 6 o'clock with our own Cantamani, everything you always wanted to know about Judaism. And then next Friday, of course, we have our Shabbatini. So it's been a month since we've had that. Again, this is all on Zoom, followed by our services. And don't forget Sisterhood. Let's see. The next thing is the Holiday Bazaar, and that's December 8th. So we have a Cinema Paradiso movie and lunch. And then on February 6th at the Norton Museum trip with jewelry, shopping, and lunch. So that's going on. And as I mentioned, don't forget that food drive. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
So thank you. Very good.
Rabbi, I want to add one thing, if I may.
One thing, yeah.
We forgot to mention, we lost our oldest member this week.
Yes, her... Connie, no, not our oldest.
She's not our
Our
oldest?
second oldest.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Connie.
Or maybe Sari Schulman's older.
Sari will be 104.
Yeah.
In 4 months, and Connie would have been 103
in December. Another few weeks.
Another few weeks.
Yeah.
And we'll be putting Connie's name on our Shloshim list beginning next Friday. So let's do a motzi.
Yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Can we have a little Shabbat music? Thank you, Richie.
Beautiful. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Thank you, Nick, for looking after the camera duties.
Welcome back,
And
Rabbi, from North Carolina.
Thank you.
Is that where you were?
That's where I was. I was in North Carolina. You know, it's so nice to be invited into our congregants' homes on Friday nights, and for them to come in here to our Shabbat, our spiritual home. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Richie, beautiful. Richie plays so nice. Rabbi, when is, I'm going to turn this off for a minute. When is the funeral?